It's Monday morning, January 18th, Martin Luther King Day. In 2 days, President Donald J. Trump will be leaving the White House for good. He will not be attending the inauguration. Instead, in the early morning hours, he will go to his personally arranged send-off, a military honor send-off, complete with a red carpet. And we don't know where that's going to take place. It could be taking place at the military air base, or it could take place in front of the White House. No details on that yet. But in any event, he will take his last ride on Air Force One, and many of us will be happy that he's gone. But let's think about what he's left behind. He's left behind QAnon, riders in the storm, who believe in the fever dream conspiracy that there are foot soldiers in a war against Satan-worshipping pedophiles in the government's deep state. There are also neo-Nazis and anti-Semites, and people who wear Camp Auschwitz sweatshirts, and those who yell, "The Jews will not replace us." So in other words, he has left behind many insurrectionists. Some high up in the counterterrorism units of our government have looked at this amalgamation of forces amongst the 75 million voters like the angry Arab youth with very poor prospects who joined the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. People who are distinctly unhappy with their lives have band together to embrace an ideology that is filled with violence and hatred. That's what he's left behind. Those people who Trump excited with his Stop the Steal narrative because they lost and they feel they are a lost cause. And they're looking for something so that they can hold their rightful place in society. And in their warped minds, I'm not sure quite what that is. But somehow or other, I'm thinking that it's all white. So experts who have closely examined how violent extremist movements arise out of unstable societies abroad have detected recurring patterns. The patterns are that small groups like QAnon start out, and then over time another small group joins them, and another small group joins them, and before you know it, you have a mob. And of course, we can blame it on the internet, because that is their means of recruiting and joining like-minded people. That's what Anwar al-Awlaki did, the American-born cleric and leader of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. He had tens of thousands of hits on his YouTube. Even after his death, his YouTube is still alive. What's very disturbing is when we look at the makeup of the crowd of insurrectionists that stormed the Capitol. There were more than a few ex-military people in that crowd. A couple of them were caught, but I don't know how many people had military experience. I do know that the QAnon shaman was ex-military. And these anti-Semites and white nationalists have reached out to other groups in countries like Germany and Norway and Canada and Russia. So this is not an isolated group of people only in the United States. They are searching for allies around the world. They found the Nordic Front, a neo-Nazi group spreading throughout the Nordic countries as a threat to the United States. And they have some connections here. As far as I could tell, this group that stormed the Capitol had no real single leader, but eventually one may turn up. And interestingly enough, the Washington Post and ABC took a poll, and that poll showed that the majority of Republicans believe that Donald Trump had nothing to do with this rally, that he bears no responsibility for the actions of those people, and that he acted responsibly. Sure, he acted responsibly. He said, "We love you. Now go out and fight like hell." So I guess that means he took no responsibility. So to many counterterrorism experts, this group of people that assembled in front of the Capitol and then stormed the place has checked off many of the boxes that lead to insurrection, that lead to the forming of antisocial, dangerous groups like Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. These patterns are the patterns that existed in other long-standing violent extremist movements. We all remember Osama bin Laden, and his story to the people was that there was a band of Arab fighters who defeated the Russians in Afghanistan. Come and join me and we will overtake the world. And people who are poor and disenfranchised and looking for a way out believe these guys. And I believe the counterterrorism experts. Because when you looked at the crowd, you saw the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis, QAnon, anti-Semites, anti-government militias, xenophobes, anti-feminists, all of them brought together in a festival that looked like Woodstock. So now they have something to call their own. The Battle of Capitol Hill will be a symbol. So Trump will be gone, but there's no reason to rejoice because he gave a green light to these extremist groups. The entire movement read Trump's tweet, and they probably have printed it out 1,000,000 times and are pasting it up on the wall. Big protest in D.C. on January 6th. Be there. Be wild. That's a big green light. So here's the bottom line. Now that these groups have been exposed, they will gather together more tightly and more secretly. And Trump has left the scene, but the radical movement that he helped create has a momentum of its own right now, and a cohesion now. They don't need Trump anymore. So we, the people of the United States, are stuck with them. And let's hope we can band together and overturn them. So that's it for this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.